Views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast. I'm John Engelman. Thanks for being here. This week, we talk with Chef Miles James. He of Ella's at Inn at Carnal Hall, Inn at the Mill, James at the Mill, 28 Springs, and currently, MJ's Pizzeria in Springdale. And we'll hear from him shortly, but first...
Good news. Winner is. So let's go to the lyric to find out who the winner of Best Chef South is for 2025.
And the winner is Nando Chang. Let's go!
Well, that was a bummer on Monday night, as Chef Rafael Rios of Yayo's and Chef Matt Cooper of Conifer were two of the 5 finalists for the Best Chef of the South at the James Beard Awards in Chicago, with Miami's Nando Chang taking home the prize. But 2 of the top 5 from NWA, it certainly isn't the last time you'll see chefs from our area there. Big congrats to Chef Cooper and Chef Rios for being nominees. Speaking of Chef Cooper, his new concept, Rin, begins tomorrow. That's Thursday, June 19th, for those watching and listening later. It's a farm-to-table restaurant focused on an 8 to 10-course tasting menu and local sourcing. It's associated with Sun Painted Farms, where the restaurant will be sourcing many of its ingredients. Go to Rin Bentonville, that's RYN Bentonville.com, to make your reservations. Keeping it in Bentonville, we hopped over to Archie's Sandwichery a few weeks ago to get the scoop, and we met owner-operator Kevin Gherkins off camera. They start their soft opening tomorrow. It'll be a very family-friendly place. They'll have a bar program at night. They'll be open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and be closed on Tuesday. Of course, it's a sandwichery, so they'll have breakfast sandwiches and start serving subs at 10 a.m. Here's the details of their opening.
We have the soft opening Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's just going to be from 4 p.m. on. Probably do about 10, 11 p.m., just depending on how, party-friendly people are. But after that, it's going to be Wednesday, June 25th, that we start having some regular hours.
Another soft opening, this time in Fayetteville, as the much-anticipated Bloom Cheese Collective had a ramen pop-up last weekend and started their soft opening week yesterday. The cheeses and wine are in, and their offering will continue to grow. But for this week, co-owner Allie K. Hammer Cameron gives us the deets.
We're ready for the people, softly ready. Okay. This weekend, we're going to be launching sandwiches and our full menu. So, give us a little patience this week as we're cranking through. But we've got plenty of cheese, as you can see. We're ready to sling cheese plates and retail cheese to go. We've got wine by the glass. We've got beer. We've got all sorts of sparkling water, fun, different sparkling waters from all over the world. So we're getting our wings stretched this week.
So they'll be open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 6, Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 7, and closed Sunday and Monday. Sicaru Coffee Roasters opened last weekend in Fayetteville. Rabbit Hole NWA was there serving food. Ambivert Books had a setup, and DJ Girlfriend was pumping the tunes. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, Saturday, 8 to 5, and Sunday, 8 to 2. They're at 716 West Sycamore in Fayetteville. If you need a Peruvian food fix, you now have an option in Rogers. Huarique 115 opened in Rogers last week. They are located at 115 North Dixieland, Suite 116, and I've heard some great things. If you drive on MLK in Fayetteville near campus, this one's hard to miss. Queen Donuts looks really close to being open. Even the drive-through menu is up, and as you can see, they'll of course have donuts, breakfast sandwiches, biscuits, bagels, burritos, and kolaches, bubble teas, smoothies, coffee items, and more. No word on when they'll be open, but once they are, their Facebook page says they'll be open from 4 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Taqueria Guanajuato opened last Thursday on Sunset in Springdale. Of course, the original location on North Thompson opened in 2007. This is a bigger building with a drive-thru, and their hours, 8 a.m. to midnight, Sunday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m., Friday and Saturday. Finally, the Fayetteville Flyer is reporting there will be a new tea shop going in near the Fayetteville Public Library. The Fayetteville Tea House will be opened by a few former employees of the Savoy Tea Shop, which closed their cafe locations last month. It'll be located at 315 West Center Street. Look for updates on their Instagram for progress. Miles James grew up in Northwest Arkansas and went to the U of A. He got his first job in a legendary Fayetteville restaurant when he was just 14 years old, and from there, he was hooked. After college, he decided on culinary school and then learned from some of the top chefs in the Northeast and around the world. Chef James has great stories about that. Why did he come back to NWA, though? Well, opportunity, both professionally and personally. At the tender age of 26, he came home to open James at the Mill and Inn at the Mill. His trajectory in life changed immensely because of 3 guests having lunch there one day. And that's when things truly took off. What a story that is, and you'll hear it from him. And finally, his current baby, MJ's Pizzeria. He'll tell the story about how it started and how they survived COVID. Also, I couldn't believe it when he said it, but next month's going to be a decade for MJ's. 10 years! And something's on the horizon for the place. Chef James is going to tell us about that and much more. And that's next, right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
Welcome back. We are at MJ's Pizzeria here in Springdale, and we're with Executive Chef and owner, Miles James. How are you, sir?
Good, John.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for having me, I guess is the way of putting it.
Glad you called.
Well, very general questions to start off on. Let's kind of get our plateau going here. Plateau. I don't know what happened there. Oh, forgive me. You'll hear what we're talking about here in a sec. But a lot of folks may not know where you're from and how you got into food. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Born in Georgia, grew up in Northwest Arkansas from 5 years old. Got into food when I was 14. I got a job at Hugo's in downtown Fayetteville.
Heck yeah.
Started there and was a busboy. The dishwasher quit on the first night, and I said, I can wash dishes and bus tables.
Look at you, hustle man.
Man, it's like, I don't need much more money, just a little bit.
There you go. There you go. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played. And is that what got you into food?
It really was. That whole experience was amazing. I went on and worked at some other restaurants locally, Coy's Place, Mazio's Pizza. Had an opportunity to cook to put myself through college and study architecture and then go to culinary school. So it was just kind of a natural evolution for me.
Yeah.
I was really into, just making people happy with food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we get to that food, something you said when we were talking the other day that kind of shocked me was architecture. You're an architecture guy. Yeah,
so it's been a big influence in my life. My father-in-law, James Lambeth, great internationally recognized architect, taught architecture at the University of Arkansas for 20 years and was a big influence in my life before going to college. And, I saw him as this kind of really creative rock and roll guy that was really good at architecture, and I thought, hey, I'm going to give that a shot. Maybe that's for me. Turns out that the food thing was really what I was after, and but I've been able to put the two together: architecture, design, development, and it's been a great part of our good success.
Let's take us back here to just graduating from the U of A. You've got your architecture degree. Why chef school? Well,
I cooked to put myself through college, and I went to my family. Everybody's educators in my family, and I said, "Hey, I'm not asking for anything. I don't need any money. I'm going to do this. I want to go to culinary school."
Yeah.
And I've been accepted at New England Culinary in Montpelier, Vermont, and it's something I want to do. I want to see if it has legs, and what a great experience. A young kid get in his truck and drive to Vermont and just figure it out from there. So
and I've taught to colleges and things like that before in their communications department, especially back when I was in TV. And the one thing I tell everybody: get away from home. Get away from home on your own.
No, I mean,
Go do it.
It was an amazing experience. Like the first weekend, one of my roommates said, "Hey, we're going to Nantucket this weekend. You should come with us." And I'm like, "What's Nantucket?"
Oh,
Growing up in Arkansas, and they're like, "Ha ha ha."
Oh, they didn't believe you.
Yeah, come on, kid.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, it was just a real eye-opening experience, and I chose New England culinary because I wanted to be close to the East Coast, and I wanted to learn about fish, and I wanted to learn about some different cooking methods, and it was a great school, classically trained, French chefs, just in a great atmosphere in Montpelier, Vermont, the smallest state capital in the United States.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Good nugget,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
Well, you go from there, and then the real education starts, if I may.
Yeah, Nantucket. I found my way there. American Seasons, worked for two brothers. Just an amazing experience. Got to work my way up to be the sous chef, and I did 2 seasons there. Nantucket was amazing, and just a lot of knowledge came out of that time with Everett and Stuart Reed at American Seasons. A real seasonal menu that changed throughout the season, and Nantucket was just a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I did a part-time gig on a scallop boat, and
oh wow,
just it was just a lot of fun. It was a great experience. I still draw from that. Got to go to New York City and kind of a bizarre little thing. I was going all around town, Manhattan, putting my resume everywhere.
Yeah.
I had New York Magazine, and all these great chefs are in there, and I'm going and I'm finding there. Where's John George? And he's at Lafayette Restaurant, and this is before John George had exploded into what he is, this superstar chef that he is today. And so I was going around town, and I was walking Manhattan, and I saw this restaurant under construction. And I walked in, and I was like, wow, this is cool. This is a great space. Is the chef here? And the foreman went over and spent a little time with me, and he said, you just missed him. I said, can I drop my resume? Would you give it to the chef? And he said, sure. And so there was a nail on the front door. He takes my resume and pops it over the nail.
Oh, wow.
Next day, I'm walking through the neighborhood, and I see David Burke, and I'm like, hey, you're David Burke. And he's like, hey, how's it going? I said, I'm Miles. He's like, you're Miles James from Arkansas. You nailed your resume to the front door of my restaurant yesterday.
You're welcome, sir.
And that's how I got the job.
That's great.
And I worked for Dan Budd in the pastry department, and I said to David, I can bake. I just came from this great experience in Nantucket, and one of my jobs besides American Seasons was I worked for this guy named Matt Fee at Something Natural Bakery. And I would go in at 4, and I would start all the bread with Matt, and the girls up front would make sandwiches, and we had a line out the door at 11. It was an amazing place, still there today.
Wow.
So go to Something Natural when you're in Nantucket. And anyway, David said, show me what you got, Arkansas. Let's
Oh, gosh, that was your name the whole time, wasn't it? Oh, man.
That and some other names.
Well, of course.
And but anyway, the baker quit.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can bake, chef. And he's like, show me.
Yeah.
Seriously, show me. So we developed some breads. He had already developed a great lineup of breads. Gail Green from New York Magazine came in and said, I want to talk to the guy that makes the bread. I don't want to talk to you, David Burke. I want to talk to the guy that makes the bread. We did an interview with
somebody. Give me Arkansas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway, it was a great time with David
Awesome.
Burke and Alan Stillman, New York Restaurant Group. Park Avenue Cafe, Smith & Walensky. Some big names.
Oh, yeah.
My eyes were just wide open. It was an absolute just incredible time.
You get that I can't believe I'm here feeling.
Yeah, and you're so into it, and it's like I can do that, and the chef starts to trust you, and it's like, hey, I need you to come in at 6, and I need you to start roasting bones, and I need you to get these stocks going, and I need you to receive these produce and still bake and still help Dan in the pastry shop. And I'm like, I got you, chef. Let's do this.
Giddy up.
So And that's been my career. Is one thing after the next kind of opens the next door.
Absolutely.
I went to work. I wanted to work up and really help Chef David Burke and I are still really close, really good friends. He's
Nice.
a great mentor to me. He's done so well and continues to. And I said, hey, I really want to be your sous chef. And he's like, if Jerry or Brad leave, you're next in line. And I'm like, Chef, I got to go. I've got to keep pushing. He's like, listen, why don't you go talk to Don Pintabona? You know where he is. You know where the kitchen is. Tribeca Grill needs some help right now. And I went to Tribeca, got the interview. Here's Robert De Niro. He's got Merrimack Studios going. He's just upstairs. He's a partner in the group.
Oh, wow.
De Niro comes through and is like, hey, Arkansas, I like my, it just continues. So I like my penne pasta al dente, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and cracked black pepper, and a cold glass of milk. If you see me hang around the kitchen, just make that for me. If I eat it, I eat it. If I don't, I don't.
Right.
And so got to know these guys, and Park Avenue, you're doing 350, 400 people a day, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
And then you go to Tribeca Grill, you're doing over 1,000 people a day. So it's quite a big different. And it's a big change. And
Unbelievable.
yeah, really cool. Got the chance to, after that, go to France and work for 3 Michelin star Guy Savoy. That was kind of a thing too. I was trying to work for Joe Robuchon, and I had all these letters from David Burke and Don Pintabona, and I'd send it to Joel Robuchon, and this is telling how old I am. This is before the internet, and so anyway, the chef wrote back and he said, come on, let's do this. We'd love to have you. So I get myself to France, and he comes and peeks out of the kitchen and kind of gives me a little look, and then he goes back in, sends the maitre d' over, and he says, I'm sorry, we don't hire Americans. I'm like, I'm so sorry. We've been communicating for like 6 months. You guys have already hired me. And they're like, no, you don't have the job. And so I didn't have a job. I have to have a job. I'm
Right.
here. So I go down the street. I heard of this other chef, Guy Savoy, knocked on the door. He opens the door. I hand him my resume. I've got my chef whites on. I got my knife bag with me.
There you go.
He hires me on the spot.
Nice.
I tell him my story, and he says, listen, let's make a deal. You want to work in all my stations in my kitchen. No American's ever done it. You're going to be the first. When I move you to another station...
That's great.
Yeah, it was so cool. When I move you to another station, you're going to sit down with me and tell me a story of how these big New York restaurants work.
Oh.
So a little bit of back and forth there,
Yeah.
and you give me a little, I give you a little kind of thing.
Nice little barter system.
Incredible. So Guy and I are still buddies.
Yeah.
I got to cook with him a couple years ago at Memphis Food and Wine.
Oh, nice.
And just what an incredible, life-changing experience, it was to get to work for Monsieur Savoy. It was great.
My
Wonderful.
goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness. And what an education.
Yeah, totally.
All the way through.
Got to go to the River Cafe next in London, and walked in and got a job just the same way. Just said, I want to work here. This is my resume. Ruth Rogers and Rose Gray hired me. Rose was an incredible mentor to me and showed me this Italian cooking that everything in my background to that point had been French and really, really buttoned up, and this, little brunoise and this perfect little sauce and reductions and, the methodology behind French cooking, which I love. And so it was a departure to go to an Italian kitchen where everything's a little bit more from the heart and soul, and just a soulful type of cooking. And so Rose Gray, amazing, wonderful lady, and learned how to make polenta correctly, and I learned how to grill items, and I learned how to cook from the garden, and I learned how to that was the kind of the start of this whole relationship that developed into this later thing when we came back to Arkansas, and developing kind of our own cuisine, and that whole relationship with farmers. And when I came back, I took more classes, studied at International School of Confectionery Arts in Gaithersburg, Maryland,
Okay.
and 2 Swiss incredible chefs, and took some pastry classes there. I wanted to be a well-rounded chef, and so then I had this girl that I was chasing, Courtney.
Oh boy,
Courtney James now, and Courtney Lambeth at the time. And,
okay.
And so,
and you guys knew each other previous to you going abroad.
we actually had
or not
a date when we were 10 years old, and my uncle was Jim's Lambeth's associate of 30 years, Hun Bay M. Kind of hooked us up and said, "Hey, I've got this new nephew, and I want to introduce you, Courtney." And we went to see Smokey and the Bandit, and went to Tim's Pizza. You know,
heck yeah.
I mean, how cool
Right
is
on.
that? Tim's Pizza, Smokey and the Bandit. You know, get to.
I'd do that today.
Yes, I would too. But yeah, Courtney and I go way back, and what a great love affair and wonderful relationship we've had, and a great marriage, and our daughter Paris, and just the whole thing. She's been there for me, and
awesome.
It's wonderful.
Storybook.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, then you get back to Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. First, a stop in Santa Fe, and work for Mark Miller at the Coyote Cafe, and that was fortuitous.
What was the desert like?
Incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. Still love it. Want to go back every day. Just amazing. And I walked in, and one of the guys that I went to culinary school with, Ken Rislow, is on the line. He's working there. And he's like, "Get out of here. Come on."
That's great. Yeah.
Man, just
awesome.
It was in sync from the moment I walked in the door.
Yeah.
It was Mark Kiffin, still one of my incredible dear friends. And Mark Kiffin's gone on to run the Compound and be a James Beard chef, James Beard award-winning chef, and Dorona, Distinguished Restaurants of North America, and just, award after award. But Mark Kiffin was the chef there, and worked for Chef Mark Miller, who was the owner. And man, what a great place. Just a great time in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big influence.
And then you come back to India. Tell me about what specifically drew you back and what the timing was.
Jim Lambeth, Joyce Lambeth, Courtney, my future wife. We had an opportunity.
Okay.
Jim had bought the old Johnson Mill.
Yeah. In
the parking lot. Just driving by, he saw a for sale sign going up. He turned around and made a deal in the parking lot.
How about that?
With the guy.
Unbelievable.
And it was in the Johnson family for years and years. It was on the National Historic Register. Mm-hmm. It was the oldest continual operating business in Arkansas. Mm. It was first built in the 1830s. It moved across the street after retreating Confederates, burned it down, and it was rebuilt and in the location that it is today.
Yeah.
And so we set out. Jim started, and he started with 32 rooms, and we added on 16 more rooms, taking it up to 48. And I got my feet wet in the hotel business, and learned what that was all about with family. And we built the restaurant. Built a 200-seat restaurant, 11,000 feet, 2 stories. James at the Mill.
What a time!
Incredible. I mean, 26 years old, and you get the opportunity to, wow, what a big deal, And so what do you do? You're a kid. You're a 26-year-old young man. You've been around the world. You've cooked. You've got this great experience and background. And so what set out to become Ozark Plateau cuisine. We started to cook from our heart and soul, work with farmers, work locally, grow vegetables, grow herbs, and create a kind of food. And it came from an old map that had
no kidding.
There's a region in southern Missouri and northwest Arkansas and just a little part of Kansas called the Ozark Plateau.
Okay.
And so we said, "Hey, that's a great name. Let's use that. Let's put that on our food. Let's call this Ozark Plateau cuisine." And it stuck, and it was great, and people, really enjoyed what we did there.
Well, and we usually talk food the next segment, but since we're in on it, tell me specifically how you launched that and what was really the staples of it. Even though I know it's seasonal.
Well, I guess you're saying, what is Ozark Plateau cuisine?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Okay, so it's really just some methodology from my background in French and Italian cooking, mixed with local ingredients.
Okay,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it just was a lot of fun, and it was just something that we put our name on and put that name on our food, and it just, people really took to it.
And it's creativity without limits, too, that you get to run with.
Yeah, man. It's an open-ended book. You get to do what you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
I feel that. So you guys are rocking and rolling. You're up and going.
Yep.
And then a father, mother, daughter come in. A girl brings her parents in for lunch.
Julie Bessinen.
Okay.
She's a writer. She's from Northwest Arkansas. She brings her family in. They have a fabulous lunch. I remember them coming for lunch. I took some plates to their table. I remember this so well. It was like yesterday. Julie writes an article. She's freelance. She's working for the New York Times sometimes, right? She submits the article to her boss, to her editor, and he says, "Run it internationally." And I mean, the world changed for me and my family. It was so important, and I want to thank Julie for doing that. And our world changed. People took us extremely serious after this. James Beard, Bon Appetit magazine, the cover of Bon Appetit magazine. Bon Appetit magazine called me and said, "Mr. James, we would like a recipe for barbecued ribs from you." And I said, I don't have any barbecued ribs on my menu. And they said, "Excuse me, this is Bon Appetit magazine. We'd like a recipe for barbecued ribs." Yep. I think I can do that.
I'm sorry, I thought you were the other Bon Appetit.
Yeah. What was I thinking? They put it on the cover.
Unbelievable.
They put it on the cover. They called it Perfect Barbecued Ribs. And they wrote this beautiful article, and they came and they took pictures, and Southern Living magazine, and invitation to cook at the James Beard House, the first chef from Arkansas to cook at the James Beard House. That followed up with James Beard nomination for Best Cookbook of the Year, Rising Star Chef of the 21st Century. That followed up with come and sign your cookbook at the Javits Center. Let's take you and your colleague friends to the Salt Lake City Olympics and cook for Steven Spielberg and the Salt Lake City Organizing Committee. And
wow,
I mean, one thing after another. And thank you, Julie, for
and I bet
for making all that happen.
I bet people couldn't get a seat.
The restaurant's busy.
Yeah.
We had 130 seats, plus a private dining space that sat about 70, and it was packed. We had parties going nonstop. We had a private dining space that was in the wine cellar, two top in the wine cellar with the tasting menu. It was constantly full.
Wow.
The open kitchen, the wood burning grill. The little space in the back when we were building the place, Don Tyson came by and said, "Hey, listen, we're going to support you. We're really excited about this." And he challenged me, and he said, "Would you build me a private room? I want to be able to bring my people in here, and I want to be able to get in and out of the restaurant." And he said, "By the way, that table right there is mine. I want that table." And we said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Tyson." And we got to be good friends. And he helped me a lot. And he was a big mentor. And so, yeah, this whole New York Times thing with Julie Bessinen really worked. That media really does work. And so it changed the course of our career. It changed everything. The restaurant was busy. The hotel was packed.
Yeah.
People were coming from left and right, from all over.
Yeah.
All over the nation, from Los Angeles to New York to Louisiana to Texas to all over to come and eat this food.
Yeah.
This Ozark Plateau cuisine that we created, and it's a happy thing. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah.
And along along those lines, you had some. You talked about Don Tyson, but you also had some other mentors on the business side of things along the way as well.
Yeah, Jim Lambeth, great partner and mentor, and J.B. Hunt would come in with his wife John L. and go, "Hey boy, I don't tuck my pants in my boots for anybody but you, and we're coming to James at the Mill tonight. We're going to eat us a big old ribeye.
Oh, that's great.
And just the stories that would come and the advice. And and you know, Don Tyson was huge. And the first time that he ate at James at the Mill, we did this little bird, okay, and it was a partridge, and we roasted it, and we had these butternut squash and these little cipollini onions, and we did this sauce with reduction from the bones, and we made this thing, and the entire table ordered it, and he had me come over, and he held my hand. I was so scared, and he went like this to the bird.
For those of you listening, he is pointing to the table. Sorry.
He kind of went like this and stuck his finger and he said, "Now listen, Miles, this wasn't any good.
Oh.
But we're coming back."
Oh.
That's the kind of relationship that we had. He would tell me straight up.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would float things by him, and he would say, "It's way too complicated. Simplify.
Yeah.
Put it on one piece of paper, not anything on the back. And I just want 2 paragraphs. If you can't figure this out in 2 paragraphs on one side of a paper, it's too complicated."
Yeah.
And he said the biggest deals that he ever did in his career were like that, very focused. So he challenged me on the wine list.
Yeah.
He would say, I can't spend any money with you. Come on. I want to come in here. You know, we've done well. I want some nice wine.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do better than this."
Yeah.
And so I show him the new wine list, and he's like, "That's good, but keep going. I want more. Let's go." You know, so patrons like that.
And side note, at that point was a hard thing to do. Get good wines.
Hey, you know, there were a few people bringing some good wine into Arkansas, and we got to be good friends.
There you
David
go.
Cohn and all the guys down at Glazier's and
Sure.
Silbernagel when David Cohn had that, and you know, Jerry Harrod and just everybody involved in wine at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of an anomaly that Arkansas restaurants would be into wine.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a Wine Spectator Award of Excellence with 50 whites and 50 reds.
Wow.
And we worked hard on those wine lists. And then we had a reserve list because we had people like you know, Mr. Tyson that would come in and want to spend some money and have some nice wine with some nice food. And you know, that was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. 23-year run. So yeah, gorgeous.
Outstanding.
So Northwest Arkansas at that point was emerging, and Walmart was really taking off, and Tyson was really taking off,
Yeah.
and J.B. Hunt was really taking off, and the relationship with those companies with the University of Arkansas and how it all interconnects.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really cool time. Interstate 49 was being built,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it was just opening up, and just really, this is when people still flew into Drake Airfield. You know, when
Sure.
we first opened in at the Mill, and you know, you kind of had some bumpy rides coming into Drake Airfield. And
You sure
you might
did.
be ready for a drink about the time you pass, you know, in at the Mill, and that was a good thing. You just pull right in there and stay the night and eat with us. And
There you go.
but you know, Northwest Arkansas was emerging, and it was exploding, and so. You know, before that it was Tail of the Trout, and it was, you know, it was Coy's Place, and it was these places that were funky and cool, and Herman's Rib House, and you know, Hugo's, and
Right.
there wasn't this whole scene
Right.
that's happening now. This thing has exploded, and
It
it's
has.
so cool.
It's-
What's happened in culinary? There was no Brightwater. You know, you didn't have the things that are available to Northwest Arkansas, but you could see it. You could see it happening. You could see it emerging, and Walmart did some really smart things. You know, they said, "Hey, we want you to live here if you're a major supplier for us," and they were serious. And so, you know, the whole region exploded. Tyson was really huge, getting big, and so was J.B. Hunt, and the University of Arkansas was exploding, and you know, right place, right time.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
You know, so I'm so happy to be a part of that, and to have helped in a small way, you know, kick off some serious cooking.
Yeah.
And if you track, who's worked for us and come through our kitchens and all the different kitchens that we've been a part of, it's a big part of what's happening now in Northwest Arkansas. So it's one of the things I'm so proud of that we've influenced so many young cooks.
It's like they say in football, you've got a coaching tree where coaches go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Same with kitchens.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it's a lot like that in an organized sport like that. It's cooking is a serious art form, and
Absolutely.
Restaurant business is not for the weak of heart, and it's it's a great business. We've been successful at restaurants,
Of course.
We've had very little failure, and we've done really well. And it's an attention to detail. It's a focus, and it's about our people. It's about taking a team of young people. It's mainly young people that are attracted to this business, which I love. And it's teaching them to focus on the customer. Watch. They'll tell you what they need.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about all the time is watch the customer and look and listen and be kind to people. Be kind.
And if I could add, that's not really something that's just for fine dining. That's everywhere. That's in everything.
No, it's in everything. It's in all different styles of cooking and styles of restaurants.
You bet. I used to make just a burger bar and grill. Back in the 90s, you could walk out with $100, which was big then on tips, waiting tables.
Yes,
which was great. But that's from paying attention.
It is, and we were just talking about it today here at MJ Pizzeria. We were talking about it. We were talking about, hey, I really want to compliment you guys for not hanging out in the wait station, but hanging out at the pass and watching the customers. And it's something we want. We want to be a good experience.
Yeah.
And we want to be casual and fun, and that's in all of our restaurants.
Yeah.
So.
And by the way, for those that don't know, the pass is just an area over here within the restaurant.
Yeah, it's where the food leaves the kitchen and goes into the dining room.
That's
It's passed to the front of the house members.
Excellent. One more thing I want to mention that we didn't talk about: Rising Star Chef.
Yeah. So a bunch of my friends, colleagues, people that I got to know through this whole James Beard thing. There's quite a few of us that were named, and I was one of them. I was lucky enough to have a great relationship with the James Beard House, first chef from Arkansas to cook at the James Beard House. Invited to cook for the Salt Lake City Olympics with them.
Wow.
We did book signings. We did all kinds of things. And so they're like, hey, this young chef, he deserves a nice nod, and nominated as one of the rising star chefs of the 21st century, whatever that means. And that was a lot of fun.
Well, tell me about 28 Springs and Siloam, because that was a big thing when it happened, for sure.
Yeah, so we had done a few projects. We had done In at the Mill and James at the Mill. We had done In at Carnal Hall and Ella's, and Todd and Shelley Simmons were great customers of ours. Todd would come over Simmons Foods and put people up at our hotel and eat at the restaurant, have us sign our cookbooks, and come down and meet everybody. And
sure.
So Todd and Shelley owned several buildings in downtown Siloam Springs, and that's where their business was. And Mark and Diane, Todd's great parents, were there, and his business was there. And so Shelley said, "Hey, would you come over and cook for Todd for his birthday?" I came to their house, cooked. It was a great time. And during that night, Todd approached me and said, "Hey, I've got a building downtown. Would you take a look at it with me sometime? I want to do something there. I want to do something nice. I want to do something casual, approachable, appropriate for Siloam Springs, but I really like what you do, and we've got to know each other a little bit.
Right.
Would you consider it?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look." We toured. It was an existing restaurant at the time. The gentleman had two restaurants, and he was going to focus on one, and so there was an opportunity for us.
Sure.
I told Todd and Shelley what I thought of the space, and I kind of laid out a vision for the space, and they said, "Oh my goodness, I love this idea."
Oh, good.
And so what it was an open kitchen with a wood burning grill and a rotisserie. We were going to use Simmons poultry and put it on the rotisserie. So we got a great source for fresh chicken. We've got a great farmer base right around there. Mm-hmm. So we were going to continue this kind of Ozark Plateau cuisine thing in a real casual, approachable setting. No tablecloths, walnut tops, and this. We're going to build a big bar.
Yeah.
With about 28 seats that would fit around it, and we had a great builder, and we had a great community, and Todd wanted to use local people to build,
of course,
and he wanted all that money that he was going to spend on the space to stay in that town. And what set off was this great restaurant that people would come to, and the downtown started to really turn around. People started moving their businesses there and renting space and leasing space and fixing up their buildings and that they owned, and it really set off a big thing. And there was a couple businesses that were doing okay there, but it really exploded. And Siloam Springs downtown, the old Siloam Springs, really came to life.
Yeah.
And I think 28 Springs had a big part of that.
Yeah.
Encouraging people, to go ahead and do it, and it became full again. All these older buildings got remodeled, and
sure.
And Todd and Shelley were a big part of that, and great to work with.
Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun.
Soon thereafter, you opened a little pizza place.
We did in 2015. We were doing these wine dinners, and Tyler Austin, one of the partners in the Macadoodles franchise mm-hmm. here in Springdale, Arkansas, was coming to these wine dinners, and got to be friends. And he walked up to me at one of the wine dinners, and he's like, "I own Macadoodles." I'm like, "You own Macadoodles? Wow, Tyler! Wow, what a cool thing!" Mm. And got to know each other a little bit more. He's like, "Hey, you're really doing well with these wine dinners. What if I sponsored a course? What if we did a thing where, when you're doing these wine dinners, you say, hey, tonight only, special price, you're going to buy it, it's going to come through Macadoodles." And so we started selling a lot of wine through these wine dinners. Yeah. People really enjoyed our cooking. They really enjoyed our wine pairings. And then Tyler had this idea, and we ran with it. And he approached me, and he said, part of our business has changed, and Benton County has gone wet. Mm-hmm. And so this whole thing that we had going on with the end of Macadoodles has changed, and I'm looking for a way to occupy this space. What do you think? Would you come and look at this? So we came. We looked at the space. We made a deal. I said, hey, take this wall straight back. Let me have that garage over there. That green space outside, let's turn that into our patio.
Yeah.
Everything we'd done to this point was beautiful. Mm-hmm. In at the mill, in a Carnal Hall, right. On the University of Arkansas campus, the second oldest building in the University of Arkansas, the second building ever built.
Yeah.
28 Springs, gorgeous, absolutely. Downtown, corner, historic preservation that mm-hmm. we did there. Historic preservation that we did in at the mill and in a Carnal Hall, all these things that we'd put all this. So we came here and we had a view of a gas station. We had a view of a Shell station.
Yeah.
So we wanted to build something that when you walk in, you recognize, hey, this is quality. Okay.
Sure.
This is solid. This is a thought out plan. It's a small space. Everything that we'd done before was big. 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet, 12, big,
mm-hmm. Sure.
big restaurants. And so we came here and it was 2,200 feet, small.
Yeah.
We still wanted to do an open kitchen. We wanted to people to see the wood burning oven. Mm-hmm. This all came about when we started Ella's. We did a part of the menu there that had a wood-fired oven, and it became this thing where we were cooking with wood always in our wood burning grills. Yep. And we had the same wood guy for 25 years.
It's great.
And so this MJ Pizzeria thing just came together. Tyler and I put it together, and he said, "Look, I don't want to be in this forever, but I hope you get started, and let's do it. And
Sure.
you can buy my share out later." And we did, and it's been great. It's been a 10 years.
10 years. Well,
10
we were
years.
talking before we turned the on, but I remember when you opened this. It doesn't feel like 10 years ago.
No, I mean, what happened? Where
flew.
did the July 5th, 2015, we opened day after 4th of July. It was great.
You just flew.
Here we are.
Well, and along the way, you sold James at the Mill.
Yeah, we did. We had an opportunity to sell In at the Mill and James at the Mill, and someone came along that loved it, that knew about it, that offered us a fair price. It was the right time. It was the right place. It was the right timing for us.
That's everything.
We needed to do it, and it was a great run there. 23 years of my professional career was spent at James at the Mill, and in at the Mill, we developed it with our family, and it was great. And it continues today. It's still there. They changed the restaurant, and they turned it into hotel suites, which was good for me because I didn't want somebody coming and doing a
You're good.
doing a strange thing behind me, and somebody walking and go, "What happened?
Yeah.
Where's James at the Mill?"
Right. That's a fair point.
But it worked. It was, but it allowed me this new focus on MJ Pizzeria, and to have one thing going where always before we had multiple things going. And so for 10 years we focused on one thing, MJ Pizzeria, which has been great.
Yeah.
It's been a great run. We're so proud of this restaurant.
Yeah. I get it. And maybe something happened here very soon.
Yeah. We're looking at an opportunity. Tyler gave me this opportunity, and we took it, and it's been successful. And he comes back to me recently and says, "Hey, let's put our heads together. Let's think. We want to shrink a little bit. You're doing really well. There's people, standing room only.
So shrink the actual Macadoodles next door is what you're talking about.
Shrink it a little bit,
Yeah.
and us take a little bit more space from them.
Right.
And so the possibility is there, and we're working through those details, and I'm very hopeful that we can work those details out.
Yeah.
And if we get to do this is going to just be a great evolution to what we've started here. It's a small restaurant. It's still going to be a small restaurant. It's just going to grow a little bit.
Sure.
But we're going to grow the bar. We're going to grow the seating. We're going to have the opportunity to do wine dinners again. We'll have a little bit of a small space that's private. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And if I'm really lucky, we'll get just a little bit more space, and maybe we'll do this new thing that's grown out of our to-go business, our takeaway business.
Right.
So we'll do a concept that's based around that, based around our takeaway and to-go business.
Which, by the way, and I want to bring this up. I know we weren't really going to talk about it very much, but during COVID, that takeaway business was
it's all we had.
Popping.
It's what we had.
Yeah.
I mean, that we went down to.
I came here. Everyone came here.
We had pizza boxes stacked to the ceiling in this dining room on every single table to keep up. We had a great business, and I'm so thankful for the people that supported us during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was rough.
Yeah. Like you were talking about, you don't know what next week is. You don't know what tomorrow is.
Yeah, we had a crew of 32 people. I had to make decisions that would take me 6 months to make, and we had to make them in 15 minutes.
Right.
When all this went down.
Yeah.
And what a wild time that was. But I'm so thankful that's done, and we made it through,
Right.
and everybody survived, and
Right.
we survived. And on the other side of that, John, we emerged from that, and we knew we had something, right?
Sure.
We knew that this was going to be a successful restaurant,
Of course.
and it was showing all the signs that it was going to be really good. But I'm talking explosion after the pandemic in this restaurant.
Now listen, I have been in the lines at the door.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Well, I'm not saying that to pander for that, but it's to further the point about the expansion and how it is needed.
It's needed, bro.
and how and where you will be expanding to, what parts you hope to expand to, I should say. I know you're not to that point.
We're almost there.
Yet. Yeah.
We're almost there. We had a great conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I think Tyler and I are together on this.
So as far as opening up the place, you said a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna open up the bar where the wall is on the bar, and where the wall is on the wood burning beautiful wood burning oven that we have. We're going to push that wall a few feet the other direction. We're going to basically, what we have now will create a mirror on the other side. If we have this dining room here, it seats about 70. We'll grow into a 90-something seat restaurant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice. Yeah.
And we've neglected to mention the patio.
Wow, what a thing the patio is! It's become this,
especially now.
It's become this beautiful thing, and it was it was a thing that it's evolved. We used to have live music out there, and that didn't work, and some things don't work in the restaurant business.
Right.
But it's evolved. It's beautiful. We grow, we have gorgeous plants, and we have great herbs out there, and it's a popular space. Today it's raining, but tomorrow it'll be beautiful, and it'll be open, and lots of people love to sit on the patio. They come for our patio.
You ready to talk food?
Anytime you are, let's do it.
All right, we'll talk food. We got the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week, and that is coming up next. By the way,
say that really fast.
I got a great tip.
Yeah.
He had no idea what I was talking about. Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week.
How many times did I have you say it? Like,
through that.
I think I had you say it like 6 times. I'm like, what are you saying, John?
That's next, right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Connect with us at Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on Facebook and Instagram, or by email at flavorsofnwa@gmail.com.
Alrighty, welcome back. It is now time for the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week. And for that, Chef James, so what do you have?
Come on, say it real. Do it like you always do.
The Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week, and we go to Chef. What do you got?
I love it. I love it. So here's how I cook at the house.
All right.
Okay, we have this little patio garden. Okay, we grow a lot of herbs, and so we go outside. We cook. We clip some rosemary and sage and chives and a little bit of oregano and some basil, and I bring that in and I make sure there's no bugs on it and wash it and chop it. And so we love pasta. So I'm gonna put together this pasta for you, and this is how we do it. So we start a pan, and we have a little bit of onion and garlic, and the onion goes first, and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, in this nice heavy bottom pan. And I got this beautiful stove at my house. It's not too big, it's just right. It's a little 6-burner. It's a Wolf oven, and I put my Le Creuset pan on there. I always have to make it in this pan. Put my water on to boil. Put a little bit of kosher salt in there.
There you go.
All right, I get that up to the boil, and I start this sauce, and I make it with what's the company that makes the red sauce that's on the shelf? He does the what's his name? Paul. What's his name?
Prudhomme?
No. The guy that does the.
Oh, Paul Newman?
Yeah, Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Okay, so we use Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Red sauce.
Okay.
Courtney and I have a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. And Pinot, Zinfandel, Cab. All right.
With you. I'm right there with you.
Okay, so we got a bottle open, and we're having a glass. We're talking about the day, and I'm over here at the stove shaking the pan, and we got some onions, and they're starting to brown. Okay. Add the garlic, starting to brown, and then I hit it with just a little bit of bacon, Arkansas bacon, peppered. Okay, chopped up lardons, saute that around. All right, and then I'll hit it with the red wine just to kind of deglaze the pan, because a little fond is starting to build up, a little sticky bits.
Of course.
All right, so you're going to loosen that up with the little pop of wine. All right, just maybe quarter cup, half cup.
Yeah.
Right. Then the Paul Newman goes in. Right. Hit it with salt and pepper, some capers, some chopped olives. Love our country mix that we use here at the restaurant. And then I'll let that kind of reduce a little bit, and some dry pasta. Exactly 9 minutes. Okay.
Perfect.
9 minutes on the timer. Boiling rigatoni. Okay. Pop it in. Exactly 9 minutes. Transfer that. A little bit of the pasta water. Sure. A little bit of that starchy pasta water comes over into that beautiful reducing. And not too reduced, just right. A little sticky, a little tacky, some concentration of flavor. And we'll put that pasta in there, and we'll finish that pasta cooking in that nice little red sauce. We call it pasta puttanesca. Okay. So it's capers and olives and bacon, onions, garlic, olive oil, a little bit of red wine, and that Paul Newman. So maybe in the future we have an MJ red sauce that we have for sale over here.
You bet.
And I switched that from the Paul Newman. That stuff's good though. It's
For
really
sure.
good. So that's how we cook at the house. I'll put a little piece of bread in the oven, and we'll toast the bread, and we'll make a little salad, put it in some wooden bowls. We'll sit down at the table, turn on our favorite Top Chef, or
there you go.
Whatever Gordon Ramsay's show is. What's that one with the you
Which
cook on
one?
cook on the different levels? That's a really good one.
It is.
You cook in the basement, you cook in the middle level, then you cook in the really fancy kitchen.
Right. It's a good one.
Next Level Chef. That's what
That's
it's
exactly
called.
right.
So
That's it.
we watch that because we're kind of foodies.
Sure.
And we're into it, and our daughter's into it.
Yeah.
So we sit there and watch these people kind of do silly stuff.
That's amore. Right there. That night, that's amore, right?
It's good. It's a nice little thing, that comes together. So
Great tip.
That's my tip is cook your pasta for 9 minutes and finish it in your sauce.
I love that.
And do the
can't go wrong
sauce
there.
with the olives and capers and some onions and garlic, some herbs from your garden. I forgot that part. Put those herbs in there right at the end.
Okay.
Oh, some Parmesan. A little bit of grated Parmesan.
Sure.
Parmigiano Reggiano or just a good chunk of good Parmesan, and we finish it. We put it in our bowls that we brought back from Italy, and it reminds me of being in Italy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll be right back.
Your story doesn't have to end. As an organ donor, the good in you can live on. In fact, you can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Sign up to give the gift of life after you're gone. You'll be happy you did. Just maybe, someone else will too. Sign up online today as an organ, eye, and tissue donor at organdonor.gov. It saves lives.
Just a quick reminder about the importance of organ donation. As most of you know, I had a kidney transplant in January of 2022. It would not have happened. I got it from a deceased donor, and it would not have happened if they had not been signed up. There are obviously several ways you can do it. By the way, if you're registered, thank you. Please tell someone else, and make sure they tell someone else. It can be so important. It is important. There's no question about it. Organdonor.gov is where you get signed up. If you're in Arkansas, you can also do it at the Department of Finance, and if you're outside of the state, of course, your local DMV. Quick tip, you can also do it through the Health app on your iPhone. That's something you're able to do as well. So very, very important. I know you hear it from me every week, but it's never been more important than now, and I thank you so much. And we are back. We're here with Executive Chef and Owner Miles James. Sir, how are you?
Thanks, John.
No, thank you.
Glad to
I
be
appreciate
here.
it.
You're such a cool guy.
Well,
this is so cool.
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
You've got all the great stories. I'm just glad I'm sitting here and being able to be a part of it.
We have stories, We have a background. We've cooked for a long time. I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. I started in this business, and it's just been great to me. It's been great to my family.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate. We're so happy.
So now here at MJ's, if you pull up MJ's Pizzeria,
Pizzeria.
That's what you see up front on
just
the marquee.
next to Macadoodle in Springdale,
Absolutely
exit 73, corner of 48th Street and Elm Springs Road.
That's exactly right.
It's exploded.
Yeah.
It's exploded. When we started here, there was, I think they had McDonald's across the street, and then they had a Murphy fuel station.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah. Well,
and us.
Right,
And
as you said earlier, right place, right time.
right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Took the opportunity.
So let's start with the pizza. It's not just a pizza place, but let's start there.
So we wanted to do something cool. We wanted to do some really good pizza. Okay.
Yeah.
We worked on the dough for 18 months.
Wow.
We perfected the dough. It's something we do every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We want the dough to rest for 48 to 72 hours. We found a little sweet spot right there.
Yeah.
We make everything. We make everything that we can possibly make in this restaurant.
Yeah.
And I've got a 10 burner and 2 ovens below it and a wood burning oven, and that's it. And so you can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to figure it out and stage everything. And I'm talking everything from the chocolate cake to the sorbets to the ice cream to the cookies to the salad dressings. But pizza is our backbone. It's what it's what's in our name. It's a pizzeria, okay? And so it's a casual, cool pizzeria with wood-fired pizzas and some cool toppings, and it's some recognizable toppings. And some things that you kind of go, really, that's interesting. That's new. What's that?
Give me some really that interesting.
We do a tarte flambe. We do an Alsatian tarte flambe in a kind of an Ozark style.
So explain that for folks that don't know what that is.
So we make creme fraiche. Okay, so we do that, and we do this nice cultured creme fraiche. I've been round and round with the health department on it, and I've got a HACCP plan, and they've accepted it, and they've given me the variants, and we make the creme fraiche, and we do these sweet onions and these lardons of Arkansas bacon from Petit Jean, which is beautiful, gorgeous bacon. And we cook these, and I mean copious amounts of bacon every single day, and copious amounts of creme fraiche. I'm talking a lot, okay? And to keep up with the volume, we're a busy restaurant, and so we stretch the dough. We put the creme fraiche down, put a little dried herbs on top. Our little beautiful blend of dried herbs that we put on our pizzas, and then we do some sweet onions, and before the onions go down, we put a little mozzarella and provolone blend. Okay. And our grande cheese that we use, which is dynamite. Really great producers. And then we put the onions and the bacon, and it cooks off. And it comes out in this gorgeous little thin, brown, crispy crust with a little chew. Okay. And then we top it with fresh chives. And I like to put fingerling potatoes on mine. So I add, and our staff always says, hey, chef likes it this way, you should try it, put some potatoes on there. So it's one of our toppings is fingerling potatoes.
I'll be dang.
And so we do that. We do this pizza that's kind of famous in Italy, in Rome. They do a pizza called Quattro Stagioni, which means 4 stations. So when we first started the restaurant, we did it in 4 quadrants on the pizza. Okay. And people would get it, and they would have this little funny little look on their face, and we're like, is everything okay? Is the pizza taste okay? Yeah, but I want all this in one bite. Yeah. I don't want to have to go all the way around. Right. So we started doing it kind of Ozark style. Okay. We mixed it all up and put it on there. We do a loaded meat pizza. It's really, really popular. We sell, let me tell you a quick little ranch dressing. Okay, so we first opened the restaurant. I'm going to make ranch dressing, right? Sure. What's a good ranch dressing? Hidden Valley ranch dressing. I got the mix, I put it together. People were upset. Let me tell you, there was an immediate backlash. Okay. No. You have to make ranch for us. Okay. And I'm like, well, duh. Why didn't I think of that? So we went to the back and took some of that creme fraiche and took some mayonnaise and put it together and made a recipe. Okay. And we sell more ranch dressing than you would possibly believe.
Oh, my goodness.
In this restaurant. Like thousands and thousands a month.
You're going to bottle, aren't you?
I think we should. It's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Look at him looking at me like he never thought of that.
Yeah. Well, we're working on it. Okay, so
good.
But this restaurant is a straightforward, casual, fun place. Yeah. It's a neighborhood joint. It's a hangout. People come here 3 times a week. They go home and they say, "Where have you been today?" And you tell your wife, "Oh, I've been to MJ Pizzeria." No. We have to go back right now. Yeah. You got to go and I didn't get to go. Let's go. Sure. It's a popular restaurant, and it's casual. It's come as you are. Yeah. You can go up, you can go down, you can. Anyway, it's evolved. It's evolved into more than just a pizzeria. We got a filet of beef, steak on the menu. We've got a steak salad. We've got some Atlantic salmon. We've got some beautiful other dishes, pastas that we make, salads that we make.
And that's what I wanted to talk about next was the pastas because they're gorgeous. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, so we make this bolognese, and we do this this gorgeous pasta, this pappardelle with it, and we make it. We make the pasta, we roll it out, we cut it. In the future, we're gonna do this extruded, and we're gonna do this. We already do a lot of hand-filled pastas, raviolis, and things like that. We're gonna put a lasagna on the menu. We're gonna continue to evolve the menu and really listen to our customers and have fun with our food. That's what we do.
I've told you this story. Probably this will be the 4th time now. My wife and I came in. We were in a pizza mood.
Yeah.
You know the mood. You're just in a pizza mood, and that's all that's on your mind.
We did it last night. I took 3 pizzas home last night.
There you go.
And we were saying, how good is this pizza? If this wasn't our restaurant and we had this pizza, I would be like, wow, what a great pizzeria.
Well, that's what was on our mind, and we found a couple seats at the bar, and which we love sitting at the bar. But anyway, so we sit down and we see the special was a steak.
Yeah.
Well, this is a pizza place. Hold on. This is a pizza place, is what I'm telling my wife. And I said probably a little louder than I should. A steak on the menu here? We're sitting next to this couple.
Yeah.
And we found out later that they had gotten away from their kids for a night. And they were enjoying themselves, if you will.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. That guy looked at me and said, "Don't laugh at that steak." So what are you talking about? He's like, "I just had it. And let me tell you, brother, it's one of the best I've had."
I challenge anybody to find a better steak in Northwest Arkansas. Come on, let's do it. Let's make a challenge.
We get the steak and the pizza. We end up taking a little pizza home, as you might imagine, if you get both.
Good.
And it was really, really good, and we were very pleasantly surprised. So,
cherry cascabel barbecue sauce that we make in-house, a beautiful red wine reduction, layers of potato galette mixed with cream and Parmesan and fresh herbs, salt and pepper baked off. French green beans, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful steak.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It was really good. It was
good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You know that. I'm not telling you anything.
Well, I
you
do
don't
know it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's great. That's great. You're talking about the fun part of it, and where we were was at the bar, and they were having fun with the craft bar, the people we were sitting next to.
Right. So craft bar, it's exploded, right?
Yeah.
It's a big thing. So people were talking to me about this ice. You have to use this ice in this certain manner, and you have to have this bar ice, and you have to have this cubed ice, and this rectangle ice, and this spherical ice, and you have to have all this ice. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Is this real? I didn't believe it. And so then we start playing with it. We start messing around with it. We start reading and experimenting. And it's become a thing. It's become a thing here at MJ Pizzeria. We change our cocktail specials about every 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. It's something that's constantly evolving. We have Chef's Margarita, we have Smoking Gun, we have right now a Grapefruit Blossom, we have a Small Batch Sunrise, we have a Derby Julep and the Matador. And everybody's involved. All of our staff's involved, and we have fun with it.
Yeah.
So it's something that people have come to trust us with, and we're having fun. We started collecting bourbons and showing off our bourbons and tequilas and rums and gins and vodkas and it doesn't hurt being next to Macadoodles. You don't run out of product when you're next to a nice liquor store.
This is a very fair point.
Yeah, it's good. Point. So if we're ever out of something, I'm not sure we're really out of it if you can just go next door.
Yeah.
And they carry everything. So yeah.
Although you're going to take their space.
Well, they want to have less inventory, and we want to continue to serve our customer better.
Absolutely.
And people don't want to wait. They want to sit down. They want to have some good food. They're hungry now. So let's expand the restaurant.
And I was just joking at that point, But yes, you're 100% right. And yes, it is good to be next door to that.
It is good, and it's also good that we're getting this excitement for this restaurant. And people Friday nights here are really busy. Yeah. Really busy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Shockingly busy.
Yeah.
And it's a small restaurant. It's tight. Mm-hmm. You're kind of bumping into people.
The good thing is with the weather good now, and if it'll stop raining once in a while, you can sit outside, and that might actually even be better.
Yeah. So maybe it'll stop raining sometime this year, and we'll get that patio going. But you know what? We've had some really good nights on the patio far this year.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, I appreciate it.
That's it. Okay.
That's it.
Awesome. I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're great, John.
Well, no, you're great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I'm so pleased.
Where can folks find you?
You can go to our website, mjpizzeria.com. That's MJ like Miles James. Pizzeria, Pizzeria.com.
Yep.
You can go to the corner of 48th Street and Elm Springs Road, just off of exit 73, off Interstate 49 in Springdale, Arkansas. And you will find us at the end of Macadoodles. You can't miss us. Got a nice sign.
Yes, sir. Facebook and Instagram as well?
You can.
Okay.
I've got a thing on Instagram that I've got to fix. But we're really not really big active on those. We need to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a goal of ours, is to do more, do more social media, and that's interesting that you bring that up. We're working on that right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Flavors of Northwest Arkansas, you can find on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Don't laugh at the TikTok. I'm figuring it out. It's slow.
I like TikTok.
Do you?
It's funny.
Well, it's funny. It's just not the easy to do and put stuff on. We'll put some of this on TikTok.
Okay, do it.
I don't know if I can link to you, but I'll send it to you somehow.
I guess we'll have to do a TikTok thing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
John, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Guys, tip your servers. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.